Welcome everybody to the CrossFire podcast. We are live, and I'm telling you right now, what a great Friday. You know, today's got a lot of great topics because it kind of hits people in different particular feels, if you will, in the gaming world. And I've got a great panel here because there's a lot of things that are going on. We kind of went through this earlier in the generation with Xbox, with Don Matrick being removed, and then we saw Phil Spencer come in and do his magic, and now you see a step down here in the Sony world, and we're going to get into it. But I want to make sure that I've got all of the greats kind of getting into the room as we slowly trickle them all in. I will say this much, though. I want to say thanks to @JMatrix76. So shout out to Jay. Jay, thanks for all your help tonight. Wouldn't be the same without you. Guys in the audience, before I get going, because I always forget to do this, please do hit the like button. Hit that share button. Let people know we're here. It's Friday night. We've been doing CrossFire for many years. Let everybody know. Let the Mooch Maniacs know. That being said, before we get into our topics, let me do some introductions. I've got the one, the only, you know him as a crap gamer. Crap. How you doing this Friday night?
I'm doing okay, man. Happy to be here. Interesting topics, so should be a fun show. Looking forward to it. What's up, everybody?
Great to have you, Crap. I appreciate that. And then I've got my buddy. You know, it's funny. Let me just do a quick shout out real quick. Xbot448 could not make it tonight. He's actually doing a double shift at the vape shop. So he says, dude, I really want to be there, but I'm not going to be able to make it. I'll see you guys next week. So he will be here next week. So shout out to Xbot. So I've got a lot of guests. Lots of guests. Where do I start? I can't wait. I'm going to start with the one and only Slow-Mo Backstop, who is not just on Scumcast with the great Ash and Luca, but he is got to be related to the Ash and Luca because they have unbelievable memories. Slow-Mo, it's great to have you back on here. Thanks, brother. And what is happening?
Oh, you know, it's just, you know, your typical Friday, your typical time of me reminding Gaming Forte the stuff that he said that he tried to forget. You know, it's just, you know, I got receipts and everything. You know, it's
those receipts. I've never known so many accountants till I got into YouTube. So many receipts. Let me take a second here and let him defend himself. The great Gaming Forte has returned. Forte, how the hell are you doing tonight?
Oh, man. Friday, Crossfire, here with 40% of the Brat podcast, sitting here on Crossfire. I was going to say something nice about Slow-Mo, but then he wanted to throw a slap at me, so that's okay. He still got the best avatar on YouTube. I'll still give him that, but that man, Slow-Mo, just be ready. I got you for this show, man.
This is going to be good. I can't wait. We got to get into that subject, Slow-Mo. I'll let you you can actually feel free tonight to bring that one up. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. But I've got the one he goes by Dark Optimus, but on this show, he'll forever be known as Dark Goldblum. Goldblum, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing?
Good, man. You know you're desperate when you have me on here.
It's true. You know?
You're like, you hit me up. You're like, hey, man, can you come on? I'm all like, yep, he's desperate again.
It's when you reach into the hat and there's no names left. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
I'm like the last guy
I put your name on the tag of the hat, so it's always in there.
The last one on the list. You're like, yeah, I guess I could invite him. I don't know. He's kind of a scumbag, but
no, he's great. Are you kidding me? It wouldn't be the same without you, Goldblum. Listen, and we also have the great Predator
Goldblum
coming.
Finds a way.
He always finds a way. Crap. Oh God.
Not on his shitty podcast. I mean,
oh, here we go. Listen.
You gotta be good to be on that show.
You do. You gotta be quick. Oh God.
Apparently, the Mooch has lesser standards, but that's none of my business.
that sounds about right.
Probably accounts for my less likes. Crap. Crap. Real quick. Crap. Let me start with you, buddy. So there's a shakeup at Sony. Myself personally, I'm not worried about it. Should people be worried about it? Yeah, it's fake news, right?
No, fake news. It's not. Look, we call that a Tuesday in gaming, right? I mean, yeah, that's not really a big deal. Look, Sony is going to go through a lot of changes going into the next generation. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's probably a couple different people at the top that had different directions. Layden was a little bit more towards the Phil Spencer kumbaya type thing, and I think that Jack Ryan, he's definitely not that. He's more old school. Let's take it. Let's settle in the playground. We'll put out our shit. You'll put out your shit, and we'll beat you. You know, and I like that. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with it. I think that they've already stated they're going to go after hardcore with their console. Now they're going after casuals and people who double dip with their streaming service, which again, that's not a big deal because they've been doing that this entire generation already.
Right.
So yeah, look, they're basically getting everything on all fronts. And I've already seen more PlayStation Now commercials than I have Game Pass commercials or Gears commercials. So just in those couple of days, I've already seen more. Which just goes to tell you how much clout and how much they take things seriously. When they do something, they do it right. Microsoft kind of dips their toe in.
We talked about this on Wednesday, and I'll say this much: people were saying that Jim Ryan is known as in the industry kind of like the Don Matrick. I didn't take that as a bad thing. Some people automatically equate that as an awful thing, but Don was really cutthroat, and that's what I'm hearing from you and a few others. That Jim Ryan's cutthroat.
Donnie did at least had some balls. Could you imagine Phil Spencer going, "Hey, if you don't like it, we got a console for you," or saying something like, "Well, I remember him being hammered about the lack of exclusives back in the 360 era by Jeff Keighley, right?"
Yes.
And Don was like, "Well, we got Gears coming. I mean, that's the biggest game in the industry." You know what I mean? Like, he just had balls to him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he messed up a lot, but at least he was like, he got the content, the Call of Duty packs, whatever it needed. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what he did. Now, where he messed up was that the casual stuff and the higher price for a lesser console that really screwed them over more than anything else. So he did mess up, but again, Phil's not blameless in that. He was there in all the boardrooms, all the meetings. He was the head of Game Studios at that time. So
that's 110% accurate. Let me turn this over to Slow-Mo. What's your take?
Nobody made it bigger off of those blunders than Phil Spencer.
Well,
you know what I mean? He's laughing all the way to the goddamn bank.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't argue with you there at all. So I don't know if
Slow-Mo's not in here.
Slow-Mo's having a hard time. All right, Jay's helping him get back in. I'll go to you then, Gaming Forte. What do you think, Forte? Is this something to be a cause of concern or not really? Did I lose Forte as well? I know Forte's on mute. Go ahead, Dark.
It's a huge problem, Mooch. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Dark.
Go ahead, Dark.
Thanks, Crap. You always interrupt me. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I wish you were drunk.
They're here for me, not you. Let's just say.
Right, exactly.
Let's just be real. Come on.
I wish you were drunk so then you can tell everybody on the panel that you love them and that you don't appreciate.
Are you going to see Spider-Man for us again tonight?
I don't even remember that. So I don't know.
I just want to know, am I going to get
zero alcohol in front of me at this time? I know that.
What a blessing! There is a God.
You know what? PlayStation is not in dire straits. I hear so many people saying, that Sean Layden leaving, it's gonna be bad. And it's like, no, it's gonna be fine. I mean, they're the number one console in the world right now, pretty much.
That's it, Dark. Right? You got to roll with that, right? So sometimes you have a cause for concern when you're kind of behind in the pack, but when you're so far ahead, and this generation going into next is not your typical end of the line. Everything's going to kind of carry over. A lot of people really aren't concerned, but I see a lot of, and I see a lot of big news outlets going, PS5, you guys should be concerned. There's this, there's that. And I don't see the concern.
If you were the Ouya or something like that, then yeah, you got to be concerned because you know why that console was trash. So, and it was made by a company that it doesn't. I don't even think they even exist anymore.
Whatever happened to the Mad Box? Remember that was everyone was like, it's really gonna happen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That thing was crazy. And then even look at like if they were in the position of like Apple back in the the 80s when they had the Pippin, that right there, they're not in that position. This is just clout so that people have something to talk about.
I agree, Goldblum.
I just don't have anything to talk about right now. There's nothing to talk about. There's not, Ghost Recon Breakpoint just came out and people are like, it's a.
I think I lost Dark.
But but it's like, whatever.
True. Now, Slow-Mo, if Slow-Mo's back in the room, I heard he is. It's if he is, then let me know what is your situation on what's your take on this whole thing, because Sean Layden, to be honest with you, he kind of came in out of nowhere when Jack Tretton. I thought Jack Tretton leaving was a bigger deal. Jack was the one that's been there that everyone loved. He had that stage presence. He had the relationships with the third-party companies. He knew how to wine, dine, and kind of shake hands and kiss babies. He really should have went from the president of Sony right to the president of the United States, right? Really, he just was such a great leader. Slow-Mo, I don't think that Sean Layden leaving is the end of the world. What's your take?
I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world. I actually think it's a good thing that, because there's this whole talk, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. We don't know for certain, but there was internal strife between Layden and Jim Ryan. I'm like, and I've seen this personally and working in the corporate world.
Yep.
Bad when it continues and it festers. When you get rid of it, that's a way better situation than still dealing with it. So Layton's gone. Jim Ryan, who has been dominating everything in Europe, he gets promoted. He's in charge. No surprise to me. It is what it is. Now Layton, correct me if I'm wrong, was in charge of Worldwide Studios, so he was in charge of first party.
Right. I think that's exactly what it was.
He did a great job with that. He did what he was supposed to do. The last half of this generation, PlayStation 4 has been killing it when it comes to first party content.
But do you think, Slow-Mo, like what Crap was saying, do you think that Sean Layden was doing more of the kumbaya stuff, and now that you have Jim Ryan, you're going to kind of see back to the way it used to be with the fist coming down? Do you know what I mean?
I think he's going to be a lot more aggressive when it comes to services. As we've already seen, what they're doing with PS Now, they're making changes. I think Layton was a way more conservative, way more traditional with the way Sony was doing things in the past. And if you look at the comment that Ryan said about how, and he went over just video game history where the previous generation's winner ends up being the flop of the next generation. He's trying to avoid that, which I think is a good thing. That's great. He's recognizing the mistakes that all of them have made. Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, they all made these mistakes. He's trying to avoid that completely. So I get it. I understand. I'm not saying he's going to be he's going to be super successful. I don't think Layton was just sitting around just doing nothing and sitting on his sitting back in his chair and allowing the great talent out there to make great games. Someone has got to actually.
Yeah, I agree. Midway Monster, you gotta stop with all that nonsense. There's news of the week, and this is this show. I can't speak to anyone else's. The news of the week right now, it's not fearmonger Xbox and not PlayStation. You got to understand something here. You've got a situation where it's the tale of two different companies, okay? So in this case, you've got a company that's sitting on top currently. You've got a company right now in PlayStation that's leading 100 million to 40 million. You've got a company in PlayStation right now where they're both going to be going into next generation next year, where the content and all your accessories go with you. And Nautical, I'll let you kind of take the mic here. Nautical, go ahead.
You also got to look at it this way.
I just think PlayStation's in a better position regardless.
We're not fear-mongering either company. Like Xbox is going to do fine. They're part of Microsoft. They're going to do okay. I mean, Microsoft makes a ton of money every freaking year. They're going to be fine. Like even if the consoles don't sell anymore and they just make it as a Game Pass or service or something like that, it's still going to be okay.
I agree.
And then with PlayStation, they're fine. Trust me, they are fine. I have some insider knowledge on that. Trust me, they are fine. Okay? Don't worry, they're fine.
You wonder why I bring Goldblum on here? See, you guys just think he's at the bottom of the hat, but he's not. Okay? Gaming Forte.
He says Sony finds a way.
Sony found a way.
Sony's always finding a way.
Sony's find a way.
Forte, what do you think, Forte? I mean, you're in the business, and it's funny because in my world growing up, me and you have a lot in common, Forte, because I've always been, my ears to the ground. I've always been, me and you, we hear from the people, like, we're always talking to the consumer base, and that's something I think is a very strong census right there. What is it, what happens when you hear this from your industry? What do you hear when you hear a changing of the guards? Is it a big deal, or are people like, nope, this is going to be status quo. It's going to be business as usual, and Sony's still going to kill it?
No, that's exactly what it's going to be, because people were saying the same thing when Trenton stepped down, and the big situation, is he being forced out? Is he doing it just because he's with the company for over 30-something plus years and he wanted to do something different? And we found out Jeff Keighley did a interview with him on the stage a year later and asked him how retirement was, what was the reason he stepped away from. He said he just wanted to do something different. He was like, I left PlayStation in a great spot. I felt like I couldn't contribute any more to that, and I had a successor that was hungry to take PlayStation to the next level. That's when PlayStation was only around 27 to 30 million systems at that point. So think, ever since 2014 to now, 100 million systems out in the wild, 60 more. That's almost like 70 million more than they had when the last successor took over.
And Xbox One was at -4
Yeah,
at that time. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, actually, Xbox One wasn't that bad back then. Xbox One, remember, for the first calendar year was actually keeping track with PlayStation, and then it was after that next holiday,
Yeah.
PlayStation just hit the stratosphere, because Xbox was like, we never knew true numbers, but they were talking like they were still like 9-10 million systems in that first year. But after that first year, PlayStation just hit another gear and it just took off, and nobody can deny that. But ultimately, I think this is about the same. You really don't know. We'll find out next year if they extend the same courtesy to Sean Layton when he comes on stage next year at E3 and talks about his experiences at PlayStation and the reason he stepped down. I'll be looking for that more than anything, just to see if the conversation stays the same, because if you're going to do it for one, you're going to do it for the other. But outside of that, I think business as usual. I mean, all the games are still slated to come out. Who's going to get credit for those games? Sean Layton. I mean, even when Last of Us comes out next year at the beginning of the first quarter,
Right.
it's going to be a game that's stamped with his name because the game was developed under him. Whoever the next person is going to be, they're going to have to do this from scratch, because they're going to be in charge of the launch for the PlayStation 5. The groundwork is set, but what are going to be the things that's going to be identified at PlayStation 5 is going to follow the next successor. I think Sean Layton is saying, I did everything I needed to do. PlayStation's in a great spot. It can't go anywhere but either stay stagnant or go down. And that's what Jack Ryan actually talked about. He's trying to find a way to keep PlayStation in that relative sense where they're still selling hundreds of millions of systems and not 40, 50, 60 like Xbox is doing this generation. So Jim Ryan is trying to, change that narrative now, but that's not up to Sean Layton. Sean Layton said, I'm done. I did my job. I did everything I need to do. And the fans love him for that. So and he's going to get credit for everything that comes out this year and next year. So he wins in my book. He doesn't lose anything.
Well,
so
I want to say, Forte made a good point.
And
And Dark, I'm going to give you the mic in a second. I want to say, everybody, please do tweet out the link. Let everybody know we're here. It's Friday night. It's the beginning of your gaming weekend. But I mean, it does kind of go back. You know what, Goldblum? I got to make one point real quick about what Slow-Mo said. Slow-Mo said the longer you let an issue in an office go on, that's the more toxic that office becomes. This is an issue that became probably relevant in the last 3 to 6 months, and they said, okay, enough's enough, and you've done your time. They do an honorable discharge, and he left. And that really just kind of takes that toxicity and removes it. But go ahead, Dark. Speak your mind.
Here's the thing. I think a lot of people look at Sean Layden as being kind of the face of PlayStation when it comes to conferences, like,
absolutely,
PSX and E3. So they're like, oh, if he leaves, it's like the end of the world.
But didn't we say that about Jack Tretton too?
Right, exactly. They said the same thing about Jack Tretton. Things like this happen, like he probably it was either he wanted to leave or he felt like, you know what? It's probably my time to go because it's getting a little bit too toxic between me and somebody else at the company, So
right,
he probably was just like, instead of getting fired or doing anything or doing something crazy, I'm just gonna take my leave, and there's nothing wrong with that. He
was pushing 60 years old, and I mean, I think 62 is the old retirement number. We used to hear that as we were growing up.
Even though he doesn't look it.
He doesn't.
He's getting there. He's getting there. He's getting to that age where you're like, I just kind of want to retire and not have to deal with all the shenanigans that I have to deal with on a daily basis.
Let me throw this out to the group here. Crap, if you want to start with it, I'm really interested to hear, why do you think now is the time all of a sudden that PS Now drops their price, adds exclusives that they didn't have before, like God of War and Uncharted, and even throws in a AAA game like Grand Theft Auto 5, that's a big title, let's be honest. So you can clearly see Grand Theft Auto 6 is probably something that, some sort of an exclusive deal, not exclusive time content, but, time content of some sort, maybe in the works for Sony there. Why now all of a sudden? Just because Jim's in there?
Well, I don't think it was just because of that. I think it was because, they're getting closer and closer into ramping up for the next console and the next generation. So I would think that they want to have all that kind of stuff ready to go. Not only that, but it clearly states what they plan on doing for next generation, which is, it seems like a year and a half 2 years after these big games come out, they'll come out again on their streaming solution for people to double dip or the budget gamer. You know what I mean? Like in no way, and they're not even staying there long term. So it's not apples to apples when comparing it to Microsoft. I know people are like, oh, they're dipping their toe. I mean, they've already done this entire generation. You know, they were putting PlayStation 4 exclusives in there at various points. So it's nothing new, actually. They're just trying to bring a little bit more attention to it. You know, somebody goes, oh, let me sign up to play that, you know, God of War or whatever. And then, you know, 3 months from now, it's not even going to be on there. But, you know, maybe they have somebody that forgets to turn off the renew button. We always say that about Xbox, right? But, I mean, obviously, Sony's lineups are always much more attractive anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really a big win for them. I think that they're going to, you know, going forward, their thing doesn't make sense to do day and date the way Microsoft does. First of all, there's no microtransactions there to make money off of. Second thing, they're single player games. People would really take advantage of that.
That's a good point.
Like, they would probably just create a new profile and use a free trial every time a new game comes out. You know what I mean? I know people that do that on
also don't have
Xbox.
shitty games. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. You know, like they don't even have a 65 rated game anymore. You know, like all their games are really good. You know, it's like if they were putting out crap like they revolutionized gaming like Crackdown 3 with Power of the Cloud, then maybe. But yeah, but listen, it's like I saw the people trying to troll. It's like, you know what, you're streaming a game 720p first of all, and it just goes to show you the levels that some people will go to avoid. Like a PlayStation 4 is a couple $100. You know what I mean? If you really want to play it, then buy one. You know, it's like, you know,
especially
I think, I think this is more to attract some of those PC gamers into the fold a little bit. Like, damn, this is good. I'm gonna have to really buy a PlayStation 5 to play that next God of War.
Well, wait,
you know
let
what
me
I mean?
let me play. I don't know if this is devil's advocate or not, but here's something that I've been thinking. Maybe they see that Game Pass was something that I don't think it's necessarily caught fire quite yet the way Microsoft's hoping it is, but it has potential to. Maybe now they're saying, hey, now PS Now is affordable. Really, once the dollar deal's over with Xbox Game Pass, it's going to be $10 for $10. And Sony's got quite the history of games of PS1, PS2, PS3 games, etc., etc. You guys know that. So is this them trying to say, you know what? We want to stay on top. So even though you have a really cool service like that, we have ours as well. We'll banter and we'll combat you with this.
Well, I think they realized that like the PlayStation Now was too expensive. And a lot of people were just like not willing to pay that much. You know, I think it was like what, $20 a month. You know, people are like, I don't know if I want to pay that much.
That's very high.
Yeah,
and you know they only
and then they cut it down, and you know I think it's more intriguing to people now. And then you know now that they have God of War on there, people are like, okay, you know I kind of want to go in and play God of War with my controller or my keyboard or whatever, you know. And that's the thing, you know, I think this service it'll grow and it'll be in a better light, you know, years down the maybe a year or two down the road. Right now I'm not really invested in the PS Now brand just because I like owning my PlayStation exclusives. That's basically it.
Well, look, I think this has been a situation that's happened earlier this generation when they announced PlayStation 4. They announced it with PlayStation, you having to pay for Plus on it. That wasn't a thing in PS3. That was a thing that Microsoft literally ushered in 2002, and it's been a staple of the system ever since then.
That's right.
Sony bit that tradition and said, hey, we're going to have free online all the way up to basically 2013. And it literally must have been so impactful where they looked at it as like Microsoft is just making money after this printing mint just off of people playing on their subscription service. And even though there are those small pockets of people that complain about it, not enough to the point where people still by the millions didn't subscribe to it. So they went out and said, we're going to do the same thing. And guess what? As much as we want to say Xbox Live may be the better service, PlayStation probably pays way more money off of their subscription service because they just have way more people on it. And that was a good move that they made in 2013 to implement that. So who says that this isn't going to be another precursor to that?
There you go, Forte.
And we already know they have the games to do it with the backlog to back it up.
Forte, I know you're really going to love when I say this because it kind of plugs the business you're in. But doesn't that speak volumes for hardware still? Right? Because if you have a PlayStation in your home or an Xbox in your home, you are much more likely to have PS Now, PS Plus, Xbox Live, Game Pass, right? So, when people say, oh, it doesn't matter, everything's going digital. And I mean, I know, Forte, you have to be tired of hearing that more than anybody. But I mean, realistically, but when people go home and take the box home, Sony has sold over 1 billion pieces of software, right? I mean, that's a lot. That's like when you drive by your local McDonald's and it's like 1 billion hamburgers served, right? But no matter how much your local mom and pop tries, they don't do that. You know why? Because they have a McDonald's in every single city, every town, every village. And that's the thing. You want to have your hardware in every home. It equates to more money sold. That's just the way it is. Or more money made, pardon me. Slow-mo, do you see my point with that? I mean, where's your take on this whole PS Now versus Game Pass? Or do you honestly think that the services are so separate from each other that we really shouldn't bring these two in the same conversation?
No, I loathe to actually agree with Forte, but he has a point. He has a point, and I will actually say that if you think about it, when did PS Now start actually allowing you to download games? When Game Pass came out, and people were like, "Man, on Game Pass, I can download these games I'm subscribed to."
Right.
This is like that's not something that would have happened all on its own. It's not like they had PS Now for years and they didn't do that until Game Pass came out. That's not a coincidence. This is business. This is what happens in businesses. They see that their competitor has a product or a service that is similar to yours, but people are like, instead of dealing with this trash cloud streaming that you got going on, I can actually download the game and play it natively on my hardware with that guy.
That's right.
Yeah. That's going to be something
but you know what,
you're going to implement.
Slow-mo, here's the thing. I think, and you're a big fan of this because you're a tech guy, okay? Right now in 2019, what you're saying right now, if you were to turn around, if you were at a podium, you turn around, you see Mooch right behind you. I'd be like, what he said, right? I'd be like, exactly. But
He's the yes guy.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely, yes, man. But here's my thing, right? I got to be honest with you. I would say 5 years from now, that pitch that me and you were making, it may not hold water because I think streaming is going to become 5, 10 years, 15 years. I have to say 20 years for the people who don't want to believe. At some point, that's not going to be that big of an issue. Do you agree with that statement?
Where
you don't have to download it and play it natively. You'll be able to stream it. You'll be able to do a cloud-based service.
I don't think the future of streaming and streaming becoming more mainstream is going to happen anytime soon. I think it's something that is still some time off, maybe like next gen, not the next gen that we about to get into, but the gen after that, maybe.
Okay, so you're saying and that's what I said, 5 to 10 years. That really fits what you just said. You generations are going about 7, 8 years. Let me say, shout out real quick to Sir X Man. The super chat's working. Holy shit! Thank you, Sir X Man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. He says, I have a really big question. Told you guys about 2 or 3 months ago of the camera being built into the PlayStation 5 for the VR. Why aren't people mad like they were for Xbox? And now it seems like no one's mad. Sir X Man, great question, and thank you very much for the super chat. We could talk about that. I don't even have that I don't believe I have that as a technical. I might have to take a look and see if I have that as one of my topics. But I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, Xbox has come out now and said that they do not have a camera. They do not have a camera in the box, but there's still heavy rumors that Sony does. Does anybody have any opinions on this?
Look how that worked out for them this generation. When they put a camera in the box.
Right.
So I think they're kind of like trying to take a better approach to something like that because of the fact of what happened in 2013. Because in business, you never forget your mistakes. You forgive them. You try to forget them, but they always seem to come up eventually somewhere down the road. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, I'm not going to put a camera in, even though PlayStation is going to do that. I haven't heard anything about this. That's kind of interesting to me. But I think Microsoft is really thinking to themselves, like, if we put in a camera, is it going to be the same as it was with 2013 where people are going to be like, well, we don't want it, things like that.
Don't do this. Please don't do this.
The major difference
Hey,
has to be that the price can't be significantly higher than your competition
Well,
because
but
you
exactly.
forced a camera
Hey,
on people.
the
Dude,
good
the price
news
can't
is
even include the system. There cannot be a camera in the box with that system,
There can't.
and that system be that much more than another system. It can't, because the perception will still be the same. I don't care if it's $20-$30 more. The perception is going to be, you're making me buy a camera and pay more money, and I don't want the camera.
Well, even
I don't
if
think
their
that's true.
hardware is
I
better,
think we do
Very-
people a
dude,
disservice
people
by thinking that,
people
like,
got
oh,
shit.
this Xbox One all over again. This is what you gotta do if you're gonna do. And they already said there's no camera, so there's no camera.
Right.
But if they did do a camera, you gotta make sure that whatever price that your competitor's coming out at, you're at the same price. Don't make that mistake again. And then you also got to make sure that your camera isn't severely hindering the internals of your hardware, so that your games are impacted by that. You can't make that mistake again as well. So you can put a camera in there, because there are people out here who are instead of using consoles, they want to be a streamer, they want to be on Twitch, they want to be on Mixer, and they want to show their face. They just go build a PC and do all that. Why, there is an audience for this, yet at the same, an audience that wasn't there back in 2013, yet at the same time take an L on the actual cost versus how much revenue you're bringing in.
Let me ask you something, Slow-Mo. Let me ask you something.
What's up, man? What's up?
Speaking to my homie, man, because I love you, and I missed you on Brap the other day because I wasn't there.
Yeah, you ain't been on Brap for like a month. Go ahead.
Well, you know why. But
Slow-Mo's taking attendance. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I like that.
Let me ask you a question, sir. So, is there, okay, you say just because people want to stream, there's people that want to stream, and this would be a viable option for them. How many people of those millions of people of those systems they're going to sell are those people, though?
Dude, there are millions of people on Twitch streaming by themselves with no one watching them, hoping someone will show up and look at them. Look, I'm saying there's an audience for it. I'm not saying all of them are King Gathalion and Ninja out here with millions of people watching them.
Right.
Don't you have an option right now to just hook up any webcam to your Xbox One and stream any webcam? Doesn't matter what it is. Any webcam.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes,
you can
can.
hook up any webcam.
Yes, you
right
can.
now. Doesn't matter what the webcam is.
Is it more likely? Is it more? Are you going to get more people actually using it if the camera's already there, and then they gotta go out and actually buy one? Yeah,
Look,
the people who are motivated,
listen,
are going to go get a camera.
If the price is the
you already have a camera
same,
there, then yeah, all right. I'm going to use something that's already built in.
Look, so I know you, man, and this is you just placating to the crowd right now.
What?
If that system releases with a camera in it for the same price, and I would be okay if it released for the same price as like a PS5 or whatever. But in your mind, because that would be a win-win, because you're not paying no more. But are you really paying not more? Because I can see Slow-Mo right now in his head saying, you know what? I don't need that camera. Why can't this system be $50 cheaper?
I can almost hear Slow-Mo saying that, but I got to be honest with you. I want to take everybody back to 2013 real quick, because this guy, the Mooch, I loved the fact that Kinect was in there. Did I like it because of the camera itself? No, but listen, come on, Dark, you got to understand something. The reason I like it is I like seeing everything pushed forward. I don't care if you're a Samsung fan right now.
You live in New York and you get watched all the time, so that's why
I guess I'm just used to it. But I mean, my point being is that I like innovation in tech moving forward. So let me tell you something. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to put it out there. If the Sony PS5 has a camera and Microsoft's doesn't, even if I take the camera and I put it on the shelf and do nothing with it, I don't care. I hooked up my Kinect and used it for the first 2 years. Once I saw Phil was completely done with it, I was done with it.
Why would anybody believe that it would come with a built-in camera when in the same report they listed that Microsoft would, and Microsoft said no, that's not true. So that to me tells me that whole thing's bullshit.
Microsoft won't crap, but the rumor is that Sony may still.
Well, here's the thing. They'll offer
VR.
a camera.
VR.
They'll offer a camera, yeah, but it's not going to be included for everyone. I just, that's not.
And
I
that's
don't really
what
see
I'm
them
saying.
doing that. So
Okay.
I mean, it just does. That doesn't make sense. That whole report basically doesn't. We don't know much about these the PS5 in particular because they're specifically holding back a lot of things, right? Like that was something they didn't. Yeah, they didn't do that with the PS4 Pro or the regular PS. Like things were known, like things for the first time in a long time aren't really known other than what they're saying. So I think people are kind of speculating, and I think Sony, unlike Microsoft, has earned the benefit of the doubt when it comes to stupid shit. So I think that's a reason why people aren't being as people are like, let's wait and see, because Sony actually pays attention. If you listen to what Jim Ryan said, he's like, yeah, we pay attention to the forums, we do this, you know what I mean? Like, they're paying attention. I can remember being on N4G leading up to the reveal of the Xbox One, and there were rumors 6 months, 8 months ahead of time that it was going to be DRM and all this kind of shit, and everybody hated that. There was such feedback against that, right? And then all of a sudden, like, Microsoft can't see any of that. They don't have anybody perusing forums or sites to see what the crowds are saying. Like, that's the thing. Microsoft just doesn't really care. So, I think Microsoft will have a camera as well because they do push that streaming shit. So I think they'll just allow you to use like a USB camera or whatever. They might have I don't know if you guys saw that patent stuff today, but they have a patent for like VR shit. And they have a camera that looks a lot like a Kinect in the diagram.
Well, let me
say we know what patents do, man. You know that people will buy a patent and then never use it anyway. So I mean,
they do that a lot, but just look at the ones that have been used though. Like Microsoft, remember they patented those add-ons for the phones that make it look like a Switch, right? And then those came out to be true. So I mean, they do patent a lot of things, but again, when you're a tech company, you do that, and then sometimes they come through, sometimes they don't. It'd be, I think, foolish on Microsoft's part not to push some kind of VR solution next generation. Some kind of optional thing. I think obviously Sony's going to do that. They've got a lot of patents in the VR world. It's going to be very interesting to see how that kind of works out. But do I believe that Sony's going to throw up the price of their console by adding a camera?
No.
Like,
I don't think they're going to up the price crap. I think the price stays the same. I think that's just because
I still think there's that perception that it raised the price. And what happens if the PS5 is a little bit what happens if the PS5 is a little bit less powerful? Right? They're like, well, if it's less powerful, why does it cost just as much?
Yeah, would you put the camera in there for? Right. It's the same thing as we went through before. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Okay. No, Forte made a good point as well. Absolutely. And that's why I said
they learned. Look, they were going to put a camera in with the PS4. Remember, they were the ads. Yeah, the ads were all filled with the camera too. And then after Microsoft's horrible reveal, they're like, Jack Trenton's like, pull the camera out of the box. Let's get a Sharpie.
Hold on.
Let's put this presentation together.
I completely agree. Let me just
check Sharpie. They had a PowerPoint presentation. It was the most basic thing that someone came up with 5 minutes before the show.
It literally looked like a ninth grade experiment, like science experiment on stage.
They were like, hey, we can get away and sneak in that we're charging $60 a year online now too.
Let me get my. If I don't get Sir X-Man is hounding me right now. Sir X-Man says if Sony has a camera, it's okay. It must be double standards. He says Sir X-Man says it's somebody's camera built in the system, and I think he ended here with no one hears me. PS5 camera is built in for VR. We hear you, Sir X-Man. We think you're right.
But where is the facts of that? Because that's not.
I don't think it's. I don't think he has it in writing, but I think he makes a good point.
Because,
go ahead.
Well, I mean, just because I hear a lot of things too on that end, and that kind of thing a lot of times doesn't end up being the right, the right context of because people take a lot of things out of context when it comes to things like that. So it might not just be for VR. It might be for other things as well.
But you know what? I can tell you this though. The fact that Sony has a VR, and it kind of did this with another system before, which was the PS4 Pro. If you look at a PS4 Pro and a base PS4 next to each other when it comes to the graphical fidelity, look at Spider-Man and God of War. Can you honestly say that Spider-Man and God of War look that much better on a Pro? The Pro was made for VR, so they made a whole better system just to run VR. And that is the whole reason of the existence. And they said it from day one. That is the existence of the PS4 Pro to make VR better.
Absolutely.
So if
What
they
up,
was to
people?
decide,
I was just gonna introduce you, Brad.
Yeah, if they were to decide to do that, then they could get away with it because they already shown that they are willing to do something like that.
I'm leaning towards Forte there. I want to say introduce, welcome Predator to the show. Pred, welcome to the show. What we're talking about is the possibility of a camera being included with next generation consoles, even though we just kind of left this whole debacle with the Kinect. Now they're talking about it possibly coming back again. Do you have any input or take on that?
I would think think of this. Like, we kind of know that it's required for VR for PlayStation for the most part.
That's right.
The fact that Microsoft is putting it in there should answer some questions on their approach for VR.
Well, there's the rumor with them, even though they shot it down, they're saying it's not going to be in there. But a lot of people were speculating early on were saying that it may be included because they're doing that whole push with Mixer, and they want people to, if they figure the camera's already there, then you're more likely to hit the Mixer button and start streaming.
Well, wasn't there a developer that they just purchased that's making the VR game?
Who's that now?
I can't
wait, on Xbox side?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
So there you go. I mean, like that might be.
Yeah, crap.
What's
saw
a Mixer?
No, right, exactly. But I was wondering, crap, did you see that whole thing? I saw an article that came out with Pred's talking about. Pred, I don't know if you're looking it up right now, but it was something to do with VR and Xbox. And I'm wondering if maybe Phil will go back on his word and he will put VR on the next generation console. I mean, I think they have. Listen,
Phil would go back after he promised VR and then said no, and go back and add it again. Man, that Phil, right? Hardly even a snake oil salesman.
he's just doing his due diligence.
Snake oil, what a guy. Yeah, like what the hell did I used to call him? Huckster Phil. Yeah, that's it. Phil. Good old Hux. He's coming up with bullshit as we speak, right? I can already tell you right now, he's writing out his speech for after XO. And they have no new announcements for games. Well, really, people wanted games. We hear you. We'll put that in our minds for next time. And then all the fanboys will be like, E3, wait till E3, crap, E3, and I'll be like, okay, I don't fall for that shit anymore.
Phil Spencer reminds me of Igor, just like, yes, master, kind of that kind of way where he just kind of like, where he kind of just does whatever Satya Nadella tells him to do, which is basically, because
that's the way it is. I mean, I can't blame Phil for that.
Exactly. You can't blame him for that, but like he's still kind of like, because Igor was kind of a huckster and kind of like, this like kind of conniving kind of flip it to where, it sounds good, but it really isn't good. It's just, it surprises me that, when they're talking about the camera and then they're talking about, especially for PlayStation, and then we're talking about Xbox having a camera. Let's just say if Xbox does come out and it has a camera and it's more expensive than the PlayStation 5, it just can never happen. Never happen. That'll never happen again. I don't care what anybody says. The Xbox cannot be more than PlayStation. It cannot. It's just hands down cannot. Even if it's more powerful than the PlayStation 5, it cannot. Because you know why? PlayStation has those exclusives that just drive that console to
shout out to Jay the Matrix Gamer. He made a couple great comments in the chat here. He says, plus, Mooch, there are a lot more games that are using cameras as features. Games like Alien Isolation and Until Dawn, to name a few. I mean, I don't think. Listen, this is the thing. Microsoft's always been guilty of this. They're always a step ahead of where the consumer wants to be. The consumer doesn't want to be there. They put it in there. Now it's like we're there, and they're like, we're not doing it. And it's like I actually think now's the time to put the camera on the console. And Forte, I completely get what you're saying, by the way. And it is, there's going to be a number of consumers that if there's any flaw at all with the console that chooses to put the camera in there, they're going to go, well, you spent $50, $75 on that, and you could have put more RAM in, or you could have got this, or you could have put that, and you're right. That's 110% accurate. But I mean, realistically, aren't we in an era right now? Look at what we're doing. We've got Alexa. We've got Cortana. Yeah. You've got Siri. The stuff that Xbox was preaching in 2013 that everybody literally laughed at. I mean, IGN and those guys were laughing. They're like, Xbox on. Let's do an entire podcast laughing at it. They did that. Now everyone's like, Alexa, turn my lights on. Alexa, what are we eating tonight? It's like, what? You know,
Did
so
you
now
guys see that link
don't
from
think that took-
Windows Central Gaming a while ago about the VR mat that is patented?
I saw that as well. Yes.
So, I mean, I think the writing's on the wall. I think they're probably gonna kind of go that direction.
Well, the thing is, there's a market there. Even though I think it's a smaller market, it's a viable market. I mean, Forte, I have to go to you. It's your business. Forte, do you see, would you call a decent, let me not put words in your mouth. What's the word you would use as far as sales goes, as far as VR goes? And B, you know what? You don't have to talk about just PlayStation. You can if you want to. You can talk about Oculus or anything, but I know that you guys focus on PSVR probably more. Do you see that as a viable purchase from consumers, gamers these days?
The moment I tried it, I saw it as a option. The biggest thing is most people don't understand what VR is. It's one of those things that when people walk into the store and I tell them, they say, "Hey, how's that VR?" I was like, "Man." I asked him, do you get motion sickness? If you're one of those people that don't get that, once you try it, you're 100% bought in. It's one of those experiences you have to try. I think everybody would love to enjoy it. Who wouldn't want to get into an F-14 and fly around in the cockpit in Ace Combat 7 in VR? It's freaking incredible if you can handle it as a person and not get sick from doing it. So it's a very viable thing. It just needs to be more flushed out in terms of not just VR experiences, but it actually has to be more games tied around it. That's the one thing that kind of holds it back, but it's in the best places ever be. We finally have the wireless versions with the Oculus Quest, which a lot of people are really gravitating to. And even Phil Spencer said the reason they haven't really dived into it is because they don't want the wire. So as soon as the wire becomes a separate part of VR and everybody can do it, that's when you're going to see it take off, because the number one selling VR headset in the world are the Galaxy ones, because you could put your phone in it, and you get VR right there,
dirt cheap.
And they're a cheap version of it, but it lets you know that people are actually interested in it, but they're not interested in the high-end price, and plus they're not interested in the cable aspect of having to hook it up, because trust me, I have a PSVR, and hooking that thing up and unhooking it and doing this and doing that gets real tedious. It gets tedious. And as much as I want to play my VR more, and Crap probably would be the first person that could tell you, sometimes you just, once you put it up, you like, I'm not messing with it today, even knowing you kind of want to do it because there's a lot of stuff to hook up.
Well, Crap's got it.
What you're saying is that basically Phil wasn't lying. He just basically what he really meant was Xbox is doing VR in 2030.
Yeah. Yeah, when there's no cable.
There's really one cable. That's it. But I mean, if you already have it hooked up and you have a space where you can play it, I think it's much better. Unless you have the one that doesn't allow HDR pass through, then it's kind of a pain in the ass because you have to unhook it and hook it back.
Crap! I took your
scammed GameStop and
it wasn't GameStop. It was Best Buy, but nonetheless,
fuck those guys.
I didn't buy it. I actually got it as a gift, and then like a month later, they're like, "Here's version 2." I'm like, "The hell with that! Why do I have to walk around like I'm Neo coming out of that pink slime?"
You know how many people I switched out the version 2 when they announced it? I just did it.
That's what I'm talking about, Forte.
I just did it because they shop at my. I mean, if you come in my store and say, "Hey man, what's this version 2?" Like, dude, how long you had your VR? Oh, I got it for Christmas, dude. Bring the VR. I'll switch it out.
Yeah, nobody cared. I mean, it was a 1-for-1. I mean, it was literally brand new. I just wanted the V2. Now, I will say this much. Shout out to Crap. Give Crap credit. So I know Crap had always had a setup for VR. That's why he says, I don't know why you're complaining. I got it set up. So he's got it set up that way. So what I did was when I redid the office and I got it set up for gaming, I completely took the time and I hooked up. Like right now, my PS4 Pro is hooked up for VR. I have the camera, I have everything all set up. I don't have to do anything. All I literally need to do, like Crap says, is plug the 2 into the front of the box and play. Done. It's already hooked up to the headset. I plug it in, I play. So that's the thing with VR. I think VR is dedication. It's not just money out of your pocket dedication.
Right.
It's room. It's your willingness to play it and deal. Yep. And let me tell you this much. Adjustment. Let me explain this to you guys. Adjustment. You know, don't think you're just going to put that. I played on PS4 VR. I played, oh God, guys, help me here. It's the air flight simulator that just came out. It's number 7. It was Ace Combat 7. I played that, right? Forte, let me tell you something, Forte. You can get sick on that ride.
Oh yeah, it's a roller coaster where you got no ground.
There's no ground, and you can fly everywhere. I mean, you're over the Atlantic. I mean, you're just going, and it's like, holy shit. You know,
Were you like crap with Batman? Whoa!
Whoa! Thanks for bringing that one back, Dark. I appreciate it.
That didn't happen like that, by the way.
I'm so glad you brought that back. I forgot about that one.
That was an exaggeration.
He's like, that didn't actually happen. You
yeah.
guys don't know what you're talking about.
That was freaking awesome, though, to be honest with you. That being said, I mean, I think VR is going to have that market. I think it's there. It's here to stay. I don't think that I could talk people into it, because even I that have the setup the way I just said I have it, I mean, I'm playing it like once every 2-3 months. That's a me problem. Crap, do you find yourself using it more or less or not really?
All the damn time, man. All the damn time. There's all the time, man. All the time.
I guess we'll settle on all the time.
Well, you don't tell people it's not your responsibility to tell people to buy it and sell them on it. Like literally, the only reason I sell as many VRs I sell is because I tell people where to go see it. I'll look it up on the PlayStation Experience website. They're doing demos on this day because Sony still does demos across the country at Best Buys and stuff. Go there, try it out. You'll try it, you'll love it, and you'll want to buy it. I have one customer that literally tried VR out, and he has probably about 15 to 20 people that's walked in the store with him and picked out a VR at my store. And I had to give this dude, I gave him the charging set, and I gave him a couple of docks, and I paid for it out of my pocket for him, because that dude literally funded my store in VR for probably a good 2 months because of all the VR he sold. And it was only because he had people come over to his house and try it, and they tried it, and there's nothing to sell. Either you love it or you're not gonna love it. And that's it. And you're going to be
so
sold.
Unique, though. People like think that it's something like it's totally different than the shit where you put your phone in a little thing. It's like totally different than that. So I tell people, I'm like, it's an experience. You put, you're in there. You have your headphones on, your earphones on. It's like you're involved in the game, man. When I played, I think like Batman was cool, but when I played that little 30-minute mission on Star Wars, and I'm in that X-wing, and you're dodging asteroids, and then a firefight, that's something that's special. And I was like, this is really cool. Not only that, but now it's to the point where we're not just getting these little demos and stuff. We're getting, full-on games, and I think that's what people were waiting for.
That's what I was waiting for. Crap, we're getting full games. We're not just getting. You know what I mean? Like that's a big deal.
But I gotta say, F that Resident Evil game in that though. That's scary, man. I don't want no piece of that.
I literally watched my wife. She loves Resident Evil. She played the whole thing in VR, and I was like, no freaking way.
There was a VR game that I just saw that was like it looked like kind of like Doom, but it wasn't Doom. I can't remember what it was called, but it looked so cool, and I was just like, man, now I gotta get a VR.
Can you imagine Outlast being in VR?
Oh man, that would be insane.
Oh god.
Well, let me.
How about that Blair Witch, guys? Blair Witch in
Oh,
VR.
no.
What's that?
Blair
Witch, right?
Shoot,
wow, what's
I
that?
I played that game. I played that game for maybe like an hour, and I was just like, okay, I'm done. I can't do anymore. It was
That was a big
bad.
Xbox exclusive that people
So
talked up, right?
Well, let me ask you.
It's like Blair
Crap,
Witch. Blair Witch.
I got a question for you, Crap.
Battletoads.
PS5 dev kits sent to select third-party developers. Now, why is that happening? Because I think that's been somewhat what this caused a concern when you've seen in the media.
You know who leaks a lot of the stuff is the small developers. So the big developers don't want to face the lawsuits. So that's why that's happening. Simple. It's not really anything to worry about. Sony's already said their focus isn't on shitty indies next generation. They're going to have the better indies, but they want big AAA games, and they're going to get it. So
you think that the fact
I for
that
one am thankful less Black Tigers or whatever that is, and less Soda Drinker Pros, and you know what I mean. Get us some quality content. We've had an influx of really bad indie games. Like, look, they really control the stores, like mostly on Xbox, but like it was a problem for Sony too. Like you got so many bad games. It's like there's this I always got this gut feeling that the industry's headed towards like a bit of a crash with all these services and influx of really bad games. You know what I mean? Like I feel like these companies are being very haphazard with what they're doing.
I like where you're going with that crap, and even though I have I don't have that topic here. Slow-mo, let me go to you, Slow-mo, because you've always kind of broke down the dollars and cents versus the tech. I mean, I've been saying this more and more now that everything. I mean, I don't care. This is not just a Sony Microsoft conversation anymore. Disney Plus starts up soon. Everything's happening with monthly subscriptions. Do you think that this subscription-based theory is going to blow up, kind of like how the housing market blew up in 2008 and everything kind of, people kind of have enough. $10 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but it is when you have $10 a month. Right.
And I think some of these services are going to catch on, and then some of them are just going to fall by the wayside. You got Ubisoft coming out with theirs. You got EA stepping up their offering already. There's PS Now stepping up. Game Pass is what it is. It's and if you really think about it, that's what Google Stadia really is. It's your streaming service. So these things 2 years from now, I don't expect to see all these publishers doing this. Like I don't expect to hear anything about this Ubisoft deal 2 years from now. I don't even think they're going to even mention. They're going to act like it never happened, it never existed. What are you talking about? So it's just like some people are going to sign on for some of these things. But if you already have, say, like Game Pass, you already have PS Now, access, you're just like, that's a little much.
Right.
I'm probably not gonna get a Ubisoft.
Did you just say Game Pass is what it is? Did I hear correctly? Just Game Pass, it is what it is. Did you literally just say that, Slow-Mo?
Yes, I did.
What's your problem with it, though, Forte?
Jesus,
yeah, what's your problem with that, Nautical?
So of all the streaming services, Game Pass is just it is what it is. It's not.
First of all,
I think he was clumping them all together.
Internalizing it is what it is to mean something that I didn't mean. What I mean is
he's taking it is what it is, and he
know
was
what Game Pass is. I mean, we talk about Game Pass.
Slow-mo. He was taking it is what it is, and that it is what it wasn't, what you meant, right?
Right. It wasn't. I just want slow. Hey, I gotta be on slow-mo when I got to, just like he hangs on every word I say.
Oh, you guys, I gotta be honest with you. You guys might be the best duo to come up in podcasting. I'm loving this. Go ahead. Forte, what are you calling him out on? What do you think? I mean, I'll be honest with you.
He's calling me out. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
He's calling you out because you called him out earlier. He's trying to get clout on you. We haven't gotten to the point where me and him are really gonna.
We have not. I cannot wait. I gotta save that for the end. I want the audience to be. But Pred, you happen to be somebody that's kind of in. I wouldn't say knee deep, but you're into this whole monthly thing. You have I know you have EA Origins. Of course, I believe you have the same thing I have in Game Pass, like everyone does here. What's your take on? Are you going to keep Origins? Can you see yourself holding on to that?
No, because there's not enough games coming out in
Origins
to keep me interested. So, the thing that, when I sit here and I think about these subscription services, I rank them, right? Game Pass is number one. Now, and the reason why is because not only are they putting their exclusives in their day and date, they're getting other games from other companies in there as well.
That's right.
So, I'm not just getting Xbox games, whereas Ubisoft, it's just Ubisoft games. EA is just EA games. Like all those services, you're gonna run out of games at some point. I thought about getting the Ubisoft one just to play Ghost Recon Wildlands, but then I'm like, okay, what's coming out after that? Watch Dogs is the next big one, and I don't know when that's gonna get released. I think it comes out in the spring, I think. But that's not a game I enjoy. So I enjoy Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon from that franchise. Now, if they did Splinter Cell, that's different. But I'm paying a monthly subscription for one game, basically for 9. Let's say I know life that game on PC. I'll be done with that game in a month. Then what?
I completely agree.
Maybe 2 if I play a lot of online on there, but that doesn't make any sense to me. So I'd much rather just play it on Xbox.
The Ultimate Edition version, and all of the DLC or expansions that they're going to have with it. So, take Breakpoint, for example. Breakpoint's probably going to have an expansion. Mm-hmm. You're going to get that too, but that's But
I don't know how much I want to play that at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm paying in advance
to really want to play that.
Ghost Recon is one of my favorite games, right? So, I got the fucking God Pass on Xbox, right? But I got it on Xbox because I'm gonna play it with my friends on Xbox.
That's right.
Don't play it. So it doesn't make any sense for me to pay for that subscription for a year for that year.
Fred, I think what you're saying basically is you need to have, as a hardcore gamer, these things are generally about $100 a year. You need to at least get two full games out of it. If you don't see 2 full games coming in the next 12 months from that publisher, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's not even the 2 full games. Keep in mind, like, not only is it not the 2 full games, like, I don't even enjoy the other game, right, most of the time. And then, like, I have no fucking clue what's coming in the DLC until they decide that they want to release it. And that can get delayed anytime they want to. They push that back like
Ubisoft's thing, it is in Ubisoft typically on average they drop about 4 games a year. So you're getting all their brand new games, and you're getting the large bulk of their library, their archive.
Games. I'm probably not. I've already played those though. I'm a hardcore gamer.
Exactly.
So, like,
and you're not getting any third-party stuff that you would get with PS Now and Game Pass. Correct. Like Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 5 showed up in Game Pass. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get that.
I'm not gonna get that on any other place except for Game Pass on Xbox. So, like, for me, it doesn't make any sense for me to go to another.
That's right.
And buy that shit.
It depends on the service for me. It depends on the service for me. If you're Ubisoft, more than likely I wouldn't do it, just because I'm hit or miss, real spotty with Ubisoft games. I like Division, I like Assassin's Creed, but those don't always release every year. When it comes to EA, I'm 100% in, because I even bought the Origin Access version on PC for $100 just to get the full games, because of it's day and date. I always play Madden because I get it with my father-in-law. We play Madden against each other every year on EA, and then there's either going to be a Battlefield game or there's going to be a Star Wars game, and I'm going to play both of those. So
EA is my number 2 on my list.
So those two, I will always buy the EA one, just because I know during any year I'm going to get my money's worth for that $100 for those 2 games, and all the other stuff they throw in there, maybe 3
games, right?
Yeah, maybe 3. I mean, this year we got This year I got Madden and Star Wars. What was the game earlier this year? Anthem. It was hot trash. I enjoyed it while I played it, but it was still. I put 40 hours into that game. Me and Slow Mo took big L's on that.
But you know what? Think about that. When Anthem came out,
don't add me into this.
Hold on.
Yo, Slow-Mo, that was perfect. Slow-Mo, we were defending that game to high hell for a while.
I heard you guys too. I heard you guys on Scumcast.
Let her game come out. We see what it is, and when it came out and it dropped a huge turd on itself, I was like, "Hey,
Slow-Mo, it was like a month.
Slow-Mo,
it was like 4 weeks later.
You were Slow-Mo. You were so hyping that fucking game on Scumcast.
Exactly.
So fucking hyping that game. But
I don't recall.
That's my issue.
Slow-Mo's taking the fifth.
My issue with all these services is the fact that, like, I like Ubisoft games. I like, EA games. But my problem is that if every company starts doing this, it's going to be so saturated with that type of thing that it's like it's almost as if it's never ending. Like right now, we feel like it's never ending. It's like they just keep coming out with new services. Everybody's just like, oh, well, but if they're doing it, we can do it too. And it's like, yeah, you could do it too, but at the same time, don't you really want your player base to actually buy your game or rent it or whatever, however they do that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather have them, do that instead of, giving you this subscription service?
So X-Man says Battlefield 4 is amazing now. I don't think, here's the thing. When it comes to it, Sir X-Man, I just want to say real quick, because he's been definitely so gracious in the super chat. I think what happens when you get to like Battlefield 4, and I kind of want to turn this over to the topic I have at hand here, which is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. The metascores are bad, but not just are the metascores bad. I'm hearing from fans that the game is bad. Pred, I know, Pred, have you played it?
Playing it right now.
Well, I'm so glad you're multitasking. But I mean, realistically, Pred, what do you? Is the game? Come on, give us the real. If you're playing it now, you can't get a better review from the person who's playing it at the moment. Is it good? Is it worth the $60?
I would say for people who are not in the Ghost Recon franchise to not get this game right now. The hardcore players like myself, I played every Ghost Recon since the OG Xbox, right? And this is not. It's taken Wildlands. It's merged it with. It's basically taken every fucking Ubisoft game you've ever played in the last 2 years and merged it into Ghost Recon. It's taking Splinter Cell, that sounds like Assassin's Creed. It's taking
that's right, Forte.
What do you say?
He said that sounds like Ubisoft. That's what Ubisoft does.
They've made this into it feels like Assassin's Creed with guns. to me.
Me and
That's
Ubisoft are oil and water. It just doesn't work for me. I've never generally, you know that, Pred. I've tried getting into Wildlands, but I mean, my thing is this: I've heard from people that are big time fans like yourself. They said, "Listen, I'm playing it. I'm okay with it." But they said it's literally it's a technical mess as it stands. Is that true?
It's that's a true statement, and it's like I can see elements of pretty much every major Ubisoft franchise in this one game. And the really fucked up part about this is the maps are so good. But yeah, they're even like with Wildlands, the maps were massive maps. They had a lot of, they had a lot of environmental stuff going on that are screaming for multiplayer, and they limit it to a 4v4.
At least they give it to you day one.
No, they give it to you day one in this game. In Wildlands,
in this one, Wildlands, you had to wait.
And that was one of my biggest gripes of Wildlands. So I had to wait for that. And even the other mode, they came up with like a battle royale mode that came out literally like 2 months ago or something like that nobody touched. But like this game is screaming like a 16 or massive fucking multiplayer game, and they don't do it. And maybe it's something they have in the works, but again. And this is one of my biggest knocks about companies now. They ask you to pay for these, these year one subscriptions, but they don't even tell you what the fuck is coming for year one until they decide to do it. That's my biggest knock. And if they're gonna do something, what is coming in year one for this game? Because they've already given us the 4v4. So if they're not gonna tell us that there's a massive multiplayer in here, what the fuck is the purpose?
What is anyone else? Is anyone else playing this game besides Predator?
Well, for me, I mean, I'm not playing it. Sorry, Mooch. I'm not playing it.
That's all right. What's your opinion?
I don't feel like these games have an identity anymore. I feel like Ubisoft games do not have an identity.
Thank you.
They're
this is Goldblum. I'm telling you, man. You're on fire. Go ahead.
They're putting everything that Assassin's Creed has done and everything that Division has done, and putting it into every game that they're making. And I don't like how they're doing that. I want each of their games to have an identity. I want like Ghost Recon back in the day. I loved Ghost Recon back in the day. I mean, I even liked Wildlands a little bit, but the previous games before that were just so good, man.
Why is it Ubisoft? Guys, maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. I will stand corrected easily. But Ubisoft, okay, Ubisoft's not the developer. Ubisoft is the publisher. These are all different developers.
Right.
Why do all Ubisoft games feel the same, though? They all feel the same.
Because they're all made by the same development teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they really?
Exactly.
Slow-mo?
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. They're all games as a
I thought they were all
service.
different. I thought that, the people who made the Division were from Europe, and then you've got the other folks that are from I don't know, different parts of the world.
Mooch, 5 different development teams make the Division games.
Exactly.
And then they have 2 main developers that continue the game post-launch. Now for the Division, it's Massive Entertainment. They take care of most of the PvE, and Red Storm takes care of most of the PvP. But there are literally 5 different teams, and their names are, there'll be like Ubisoft Paris, Ubisoft Bucharest, Ubisoft.
And that's the problem is that they have no identity.
It's just random names for Ubisoft in the front of it, and you don't know how big these teams are. But what I notice is that they have this overlap. I'm actually going to do a video about this, about the Ubisoft formula and why it doesn't work. Because we've seen for the past 2 years, about the past 2 years, it has Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Origins comes out. Comes out, and although Odyssey was a better game, it used a lot of the same assets. So the same teams were making both games simultaneously, and it used a lot of the same assets as far as the buildings, the environments in Odyssey that they got from Origins. They've done the same thing with
and that's why they were able to release those games so quick.
Coming out so quick. Far Cry 5 came out last year, and then we get Far Cry New Dawn.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and Far Cry New Dawn, it's the same map with little colorful flowers all over the place to try and make it seem like it's not the same damn map that you were playing on Far Cry 5.
But that's the thing. I like that game more than I did Far Cry 5. To be honest with you.
But even Wildlands looks exactly the same as
most part overall. You see, like if you look at the Metacritic, the reviews for these one-off games are usually less. Like Wolfenstein Youngblood got killed.
It did.
Yeah.
and they try to with these one offers or these secondary games that come out with, they're trying new things that aren't really what people go to that franchise for. Now, it worked for Odyssey, turning Assassin's Creed into an RPG. People was feeling it, but people weren't feeling RPG elements in Youngblood.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that
these RPG elements and leveling guns and Breakpoint. People ain't. That's not what people play Ghost Recon for. You play Ghost Recon to headshot people, not to unload 4 clips of your machine gun into a drone.
And that's why I hope they don't do that with Assassin's Creed, where they take it and they try to make it this 4-player co-op, where you're going in and you're trying to, assassinate people and stuff like that. I mean, they tried that before in the past, and then it didn't really work out so well. But now they're trying to do it with, they're doing it with the Division, and then they're doing it with Ghost Recon. So who knows what's going to happen with the next Assassin's Creed? If they do that with the next Assassin's Creed, I might just be out on it, just because of the fact that I enjoy Assassin's Creed for what it is. It's a solo play game where you go around and you assassinate people. And if they try to make it so that you have to play with people, it doesn't make the game fun. Just because you play with people doesn't mean the game is fun. It means that the people that
Ubisoft
you're with
and Microsoft need to learn that, right? Like, everything doesn't need to be a damn game as a service where you're playing with a million people. You know what I mean? This is why Sony is in such good shape going forward, and I hate to go back to that, but nobody's doing single-player games the way they are. Look at it. EA, Ubisoft, Microsoft, only Nintendo, but Nintendo's kind of doing their own thing. You know what I mean? So really, Sony, they're the ones that are doing like these. They're filling that void where, because Ubisoft has even said all of our games are going to be huge, like, the new Assassin's Creed, and there's not going to be any of the smaller games, and they're going to be connected. This is why they're not going to do a regular what the hell is that damn game, Splinter Cell? Like, we all want Splinter Cell, but they're like, nah, we're good.
We can't put it in as a game as a service. That's exactly.
Yeah, we can't. Exactly it. That's exactly it, man.
With that game.
Hey, I'm surprised they got like Forza Horizon 4 to be such a games as a service, but there's so much. Like, when you log into that damn game, you get hit in the face with all this crap, and it's like, good God, how did they ruin like my favorite racing friend? And not ruin, it's a good game, but it's just like everything doesn't need to be that. You know what I mean? Just sometimes just put out a game.
Exactly. I completely agree with that. Shout out to Sir X Man. He says, why are all these developers able to come out with a game every year? Sometimes 2 games in 1 year, but we can't get Microsoft to come out with 1 game in a year. All of these studios, there's no excuse.
To Luca. Give it to
great,
Luca.
Honestly, it's not a crazy notion. We got
to give Microsoft time, Mooch. What are you, crazy?
What are you,
fear-mongering,
what are you,
Mooch?
nuts?
We got to give them at least 10 more years before we got to see anything. We're good with that, right? Right, everybody?
Yeah,
we got 10 more years.
Everybody.
We gotta wait until E3 2030, and then we'll be fine.
Exactly. If we don't got anything by then, man, I don't know. I think maybe they might lose some people on that fan base. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Phil's a hell of a salesman. I don't know how many more times how many literally anybody can look this up on Google. How many fucking times are people gonna fall for this? We're going to have more exclusives, the biggest and best E3 ever for Xbox. For the last 5 years, we've heard that exact quote from Phil Spencer. For the last 5 years, we've gotten squat. So, hey, I'm sure we'll keep hearing it. How many more times are suckers?
Well, I've said it, Crap.
That's
what
I would say.
I asked you this the other day, Crap, on MNC. I'll say it to you again. I mean, they have to, and it's not a topic I have right now, but they have to have next E3 be something because it's a hardware release year. So you have to have something besides just the Halo game that we know it's coming. They have to show Fable or something.
So does Phil lie where he doesn't want to announce stuff that's more than a year out? Or is he, you know what I mean? Does he just say shit when it suits him? Like, that's going to be my thing. It's all great if he announces Fable, even if it's a couple years out. I want that.
Absolutely.
But he's already said he doesn't want to announce stuff too early or more than, less than a year out or whatever. So I like, at what point it's like, the guy's kind of full of it. You know what I mean? Like, is he going to announce something by the initiative?
Crap. Let me ask Slow-Mo and Forte, guys, chime in here, and it's same to Goldblum and Pred. I mean, guys, what do you guys think about this? How do you guys feel about next E3? Does next E3 do you guys have to be? Do you have to see something besides Halo and Forza next year, or you're content with that?
Look,
Absolutely.
No, I'm not content with that. at all.
I'm not content with that, but I also
Yeah, I'm not
understand.
content, but I mean, I absolutely have to see something.
I have to see something. I already pretty much told myself I have a beast PC. I have an Xbox One X. I don't need to buy the next system. You have to convince me to do it in order for me to buy it. So right now I am in the camp that I'm going to buy a PS5 day one, and I don't even know what the hell they're doing. I just know there's going to be another God of War. I know there's going to be some way of playing Last of Us better. I know Spider-Man is going to be exclusively on that system going forward because they own them. Mm-hmm. And I already know what I don't even have to know what games are coming right now to know what the future looks like for them. But when it comes to
there's uncertainty.
Yeah, it's so much uncertainty with Microsoft. So I love Halo, but guess what? Halo will be available on Steam, and I can play it on a high-end PC and be perfectly fine. And they made it easy. Think about it. All these people posting pictures of their new streaming rigs and their systems and say, I went out and bought a PC because Xbox made it easy for me. Salty did it. Enrique just did it. Slow-mo sending me pictures of PC part pickers on Twitter. So
hey, man, you ain't supposed to get what stays in the DM, stay in the DM, man.
Slow-mo!
No, man. Look, slow-mo,
like
slow-mo. You
things come back.
Look,
back.
We're all in a situation right now where we want Microsoft to do better. I am 100%. I used to tell people Microsoft can do. They're good. Let them make the schedule. Let them talk about the stuff on their schedule. They're gonna have to talk about the stuff sooner or later. Right. That was me last year. This year, Microsoft had a pretty decent E3. I was happy with it. It was an 8 out of 10 for me, but that's only because they showed some stuff that I didn't think they were gonna have when it came to like some of the not exclusives, but like the JRPG stuff that's never been available in a system. But Microsoft is still going to live well among anything on Game Pass for me, even if I don't own an Xbox. So why would I buy an Xbox is the reason that they need to sell to me next generation. Are you going to tell me that the next system is going to do 4K 60 frames per second uncompromised? If you tell me that, sign me up. I'm going to be on your system day one, and that will be a reason because I can play my games with my friends the way I want to play my games on my PC. But if you can't do that, no game is going to do it for me unless you just knock my socks off like they did in 2001 with Halo.
Well, look at the money differential.
No game, Forte?
Well, that's the problem, Forte, with that is that with PC, you're not paying for Xbox Live.
Exactly.
So when you get Halo, you're not going to have to pay for Xbox Live.
Technically, you are paying for Xbox Live. Because,
that's if you. Well, no, that's only if you Game Pass.
If you have Game Pass Ultimate, you kind of pay for it.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
but you can buy it a la carte.
Right.
And you're gonna buy Halo on Steam, so you're not gonna even have to pay for any online service to get into the Halo multiplayer. So it's like I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing with the whole PC market and putting all their games on PC. And it's like I've never been a strong advocate of putting their games on PC. I definitely like if they did it where they had it like a year out or something like that, where they put their games on PC later on, maybe a year or so later or whatever, that'd be fine. But like when they do day and date stuff, it kind of bothers me because it's like, well, then you gave me no reason to own my Xbox. You gave me no reason to come back to Xbox at all because I can just go hop on a PC and play it there. Granted, I'm not a PC player, but guess what? Next generation when it comes out, I'm not getting the next Xbox. I'm probably gonna play all my Xbox games on my PC because
and you know what, they don't care that,
and exactly they don't care.
Yeah.
Which is
all they
fine.
care about is
Slow-mo.
are you subscribed to Game Pass or not? That's all they care about.
Slow-mo, let me ask you this, Slow-mo. Let me ask you a quick question. So Halo's maybe a bad example because Halo has a large multiplayer portion of the game, but let's just use Halo for fun, and let's just say you're just into the single player. So now you take someone like Slow-mo Backslap, you take someone like Mooch, take someone like Gaming Forte, take Crap, take everybody that's on this podcast right now because you also have Predator who has a PC, and you say, okay, so next generation, let's say we all say we're not getting Scarlet. So that's $500 you're not getting from everybody. Now hear me out. Then you say, Mooch, I don't play Halo for multiplayer. I play it for the single player. So now you're going to go and get 1 month of PC Game Pass for $14.99, and you're going to play Halo for 30 days. If you're dedicated, you'll beat it
Dude,
twice.
let's be real.
No, hold on, crap.
When
But
Halo's
crap,
about
wait,
to
let me
come
finish.
out,
Let me
it's
just
gonna
finish.
be $1 again.
Well, right. No, you're right. He's right. He's right.
That's very true.
It's no crap.
is
Good
true.
point. If that's a great interjection. Actually, he's right. It'll be 99 cents. So my point being is that you'll probably end up playing Halo, and Microsoft, instead of getting 500 plus 60 for the game plus 60 for Xbox Live, from everybody here, they're gonna get $1.
Yeah, but they're going to make more money off that dollar than they are off all those systems, though, because they make $15 off a $500 system at most.
Yeah, but I just told you $1. So $15 just off the system already beats the buck. So what I'm trying to say though is like all I'm saying to you is like I'm hearing this from a lot of people. And Forte, literally what you said when you were saying that, like crap literally started to lift off the ground by about like 10 feet and just hover in the air. Because what he's been saying is what you just said. He said you know what Sony's going to give you, so you're automatically throwing $500 at Sony regardless next year. You don't even know, but you know something good is on the horizon. You got that track record. So now you're throwing $500 plus unknown $60 because they're not doing day and date. I've said this since day one with Game Pass. When they announced, not Game Pass, but when they announced the day and date, there's no reason for them to do that. They should have waited. They should not have done the day and date thing. Now, I know Monday morning quarterback and consumer friendly, but you can't say I want this team to do good and then also hope that they just give you a good. That's like when you go to your favorite bar and your buddy's bartending and you're like, let me get a Jack and Coke. And all of a sudden you notice the thing is almost transparent. You're like, dude, where's the Coca-Cola? I hooked you up with all the Jack. You're like, first of all, I don't want that much Jack in my drink. Second of all, He's like, no, it's on me. Dude, I like having this bar around the corner from me, dude. Let's not put this thing under, okay? Because you're hooking your boys up. So my point being is that you don't necessarily want just that hookup if it's going to hurt the end result or the end product. And that's kind of the case here. We're all paid $99. Somebody in the chat was like, well, Mooch, I'm not playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I'm playing Gears. I'm like, we're all playing Gears. We
we're playing Gears single player campaign, but we're not playing the fucking multiplayer.
Well, regardless, I'm just saying we all got it. Well, we got it for 99 cents. My point being is that, like, do you see what I'm saying? We're going from 500 plus 60 for the game plus 60 for the online Xbox Live, and now you have potentially, you have somebody now building a PC that'll last them the 6 years, and they're going to pay either $14.99 if it's full price or $1 or $2 if it's on sale. Would you guys ride with me with that?
Yeah.
That holds water, right?
I would probably go to say they probably lost about maybe $20 per person after everything's said and done per person. After you take out go through the whole list of research and development, cost of the game, cost of making the console, that kind of thing, the subscription that people are going to probably keep for maybe 3 months. They probably lost out about $25 per person overall.
Well, and that's what they're thinking about, yeah.
So
yeah,
if that's the case though, Pred, and you've got Xbox One sales completely, like last month was 28,000 units in North America, right? That's
They're
not
not
good.
even worried about selling the console at this point now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if the number's dwindling, plus they're losing $25 per person, that's just downward trends across the board.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing is, Microsoft is okay with that because they have a shit ton of money as a company.
So Midway Monster, I have to address you here. You're just, it's funny because you got to talk about everything that's going on in the news. He says if PlayStation Now is on PC and they put Sony exclusives on it, well, you still need a PlayStation. Midway Monster, what I don't think you're understanding is they're not putting their big bangers in PS Now. Look what they just did. They just put it right. They put in God of War a full year and change after Uncharted's older than Sin. So, I mean, they're putting games in there that they've already made. They've cleared the $60 cap.
Now they're just happy to get the extra $3-4 off of it.
Right, now they'll take that. That's now you're just paying the cover. You know what that is for them? That's the cover charge at the bar, right? Cover charge at the bar is all gravy. It's all gravy.
They made their 60 off of it, and now they're going to get an extra 5 off people who want to try it on PS Now.
Right, and that's what Xbox should have done. And people go, well, no, because it's Monday morning quarterback now. Now they gave it to you day and date, so it doesn't sound right. But PC gamers weren't playing Halo. They weren't playing Gears, ever. So to say that they could have been playing it 3 months after it came out, look at everybody right now. And Forte, I got to come to you again, Forte, because having you on the show is just invaluable. It's amazing to have you here because you're in the business, okay? Look at what happens when people even if a game doesn't have great pre-sales, or when people put the $5 up to pre-order, okay, what do people do after it gets great reviews? They come racing in the next day or two. It's like, oh, I didn't think it was going to be good, but it looks like it's great. I gotta play it.
You want to know how you can test how much money Microsoft lost on this game, on Gears specifically?
How's that?
Wait till Red Dead comes out on PC.
Right. Great example.
See how many people play Red Dead on PC who could not play it at all before unless they got a system. When they comes out on PC, they fucking flock to that shit. I mean, even the little Halo thing they just did recently on Xbox, on PC with like that was a hit. Like the what was it, the alpha or whatever they did. Like people were clamoring to get into that shit because they want to play it on PC. The PC gamers want that game, and so you take a game that PC gamers want, like Halo or even Gears. They've been begging to play on PC, and you charge them $60. That's money they could have made off of that day and date, but they chose to sell it to everybody for like $1. I know it did pretty decent on Steam for like the first month or whatever, like Gears did, but like Halo is like, if they've learned anything at all, they would be like, we're not doing that shit anymore. Let's make Halo a $60 game on PC.
Hey, is it pretty good what Destiny 2 just did on Steam? 220,000 concurrent. I wouldn't call 10,000 concurrent on Steam very good for Gears, something that level, and probably already dead. I think there's only less than
I think initially it did pretty
mostly
decent
because of the
beginning.
free. Well, Destiny's also because the free to play aspect is in there too, and Destiny is more of a fresher franchise than Gears. Gears, I mean, that's the one thing people have problems with. That's why they keep saying Gears is kind of tiring because people want them to do something different a little bit. But hey, with Destiny, it's what, 5 years old, 6 years old at this point now, and it's a game that's meant to be played the way it's played. It fits the Steam. As soon as they said free to play, I don't know why they didn't do that from the beginning, because the game is fit to be that way.
It is. It definitely is, and that's the problem, is that I think they were really, getting that feedback from Activision to where they were just kind of hounding them to do certain things for Destiny that I don't think even Bungie didn't really want to do. And they even came out with a video on it. I mean, you guys should check it out. I don't know if you have, but there's a video that they came out with that they were talking about that, where they were like, they were held back by a lot of things, and they had to do a lot of things they didn't want to do in order to kind of please their parent company, and now they're able to do that, where they can do the free to where Destiny goes free, where you get Destiny 2, you get the Curse of Osiris, and you get Warmind, and then all you have to pay for is if you want to continue your journey, you can pay for Forsaken, or you can pay for
there is
Shadow
that,
Keep.
but let's be honest though, like nobody's like, oh, I can't wait to just go play Crucible. Forte makes a great point,
dude. I'm like that. I love Crucible.
It's a bunch of the only reason, look, I didn't even buy the DLC on PC yet because I was waiting to see how many people were.
I did. I bought it on PC, and shout out to James Vinsanti. I got a code for it on Xbox. It's a blast.
This generation, the only game that has ever gotten me to where they've gotten a lot of my money is Destiny. Every single time they come out with a new DLC, every time they do something, they come out with a video, it gets me every time, and I'm all like, damn it, I hate it, but I love it at the same time, because it's like, well, then that just means.
Listen, I want to jump into this Destiny thing. I have that as a topic, but I do want to, Pred brought it up. I got to kind of say this. Listen, nobody, especially the Mooch, doesn't like to double dip. But before we get Carlos, real quick to Carlos Crespin, he says Microsoft can't play third-party publisher and still expect to be relevant in the console space. Can't have it both ways. And then shout out to Busta Move 89. He says, how long will the Game Pass bundled in Scarlet be for? They will obviously put at least a month in the box. Think you get a month even with the X. So do you guys think that they will, before I get into Red Dead Redemption 2, do you guys think that in Basement Arcade Radio, shout out to Brap, Brap is there. Enrique's turning into a he's literally attached to his PC as we speak. He says PC Master Race. Do you guys think that they will offer more than a month with Scarlet?
Nope, they
No,
don't
I'm-
have to. They'll just give
no,
you
they-
a $1 Game Pass or 2 months for $2 again. I
They'll
mean, that seems
probably
to be
give you
working
a
well
month
for 'em.
of Game Pass Ultimate. That's probably what it'll be.
Well, I mean,
So
What,
speaking of
what
which,
they
did
want to
anybody-
do, what they want to do is they've seen the averages for these kind of services, and even outside of, especially outside of this industry, where they're banking on and the bulk of their revenue really coming in, and at least especially in this early period, because they said they want to have their new studios be dropping games after games after games in the future. That ain't happening for at least another 3 or 4 years. But in the meantime, they're banking on the percentage of people who sign up for something for $1 to cancel. That's what they're banking on when it comes to revenue. And they don't, that's why they don't want to announce numbers, because they don't really know, because they know if they came out and said, hey, look, we got 10 million people to sign up for Game Pass in September with Gears.
yeah.
But that's not going to be 10 million in November, because a lot of those people are going to cancel it after they didn't play Gears and before that first $15 hits or $10 hits. They're going to cancel, but there are going to be people who don't cancel. And they're going to look at things after the fact and see how many concurrent subscriptions they still have. That's the model they're going for now.
Do you think that's
The
a
model.
good? Do
They
you
don't
think that's a
care
good model,
about people
Slow-Mo?
buying these games. They do not care about you buying these games. Period. We gotta get out of the mindset of you guys need
Well,
to,
wait.
sell this game. They don't care about that.
No, Slow-Mo, I agree with you that they don't care about the sales numbers, but at the end of the day, it's got to be more money in than money out. And
Right. And this is a different business model. And so their way of looking at making more money is it making more money right now? That's just not.
Let me
the
ask you a
business model
question,
they're doing.
Slow-Mo. Can I ask you a question? Can you name me 3? And I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm actually curious. Can you name me 3 monthly subscription base that are out there that are not in debt and making money?
Nope.
And making money. I know for certain Hulu is.
They're not in debt.
Well, I know Netflix is.
Netflix is in
No,
debt.
no,
though.
Netflix is in debt, but Netflix is not in debt due to their business model. Netflix is in debt. Netflix has been in
Because
debt
of all
since
the-
the very
because
beginning.
Slow-Mo,
because
if-
Hollywood would not
absolutely.
let them license
Slow-Mo,
Yeah.
their
but here,
content
but please
without.
allow me to interject real quick. Devil May Cry 5 cost Microsoft $19 million to have the rights in that in Game Pass. That's the same as the Hollywood people strong
That's
arm
not
in Netflix.
100% accurate. That
Well,
was a
it doesn't.
rumor
Okay, ready?
that-
I'll even play. I'll play your side. I'll go down to 10 million. I'm way off.
Mooch, you're taking a rumor that it was 19 million for Devil May Cry 5.
It wasn't $8. It wasn't a Big Mac Happy Meal, right?
No.
So I mean, it's in the millions.
Can't just say hey, there was a rumor that was on Reset Era that Microsoft gave Capcom $19 million. And even if they did, we don't even know what it was for. Then we see Devil May Cry 5 show up in Game Pass, automatically assume that must have been it. But
Okay, I'll ride with you. Slow-Mo, I'm going to ride with you. I'm not saying that I know that for a fact. I'm just saying to you that even if we're just talking in hypotheticals, wouldn't you agree that you have you've got the Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein, whatever you want to call them. You got those games in there. You got the Devil May Cry. You got Doom. You got this. You got that. You got right. Those things cost millions of dollars. I don't care where you want to put the zeros, or that's up to you. I'll let you do that. What I'm saying to you is those companies know that Microsoft needs them because their first party is lacking. So what I'm saying to you right now is they have those. They're kind of getting strong-armed the same way Hollywood strong-armed Netflix. And, I'm trying to do an apples-to-apples comparison here. And now you have a different way of comparison. They're not getting – Netflix is getting $12.99 from people. Disney Plus is about to get $12.99 from people. Hulu's getting, anywhere over $10 from people. Microsoft has everybody in there right now when the numbers that we know are mainly there. I would say 80% of them are there for 99 cents or $1.99. So my point being is that I don't care how you look at it. You can change the metric. You can say, well, Mooch, they're not measuring sales anymore. They're measuring that. I am talking about basics 101. More money in than more money out. And that, my friend, as an investor, is all you care about.
Let's back this, Mooch. So we've already got confirmation from people who actually have concrete numbers that third-party developers, when they put their games in Game Pass, they make more money off of sales than if they didn't do it, right?
That's only the smallest of smallest indie developers.
That's not what this. That is.
No. Wait, you said no. That is the report that came out was from a small indie developer.
That is a narrative that people have used.
No. The only article that came out is referring to smaller indie folks.
Smallest developer. To say if Candy Crush 44.
But Ubisoft didn't come out and say that. Nobody else said that. It was a small developer. Come on, you corrected me. Look, come on, you corrected me. I'm just saying, let's bring the same energy, right?
Mooch, Matt developer MPD said that.
But he didn't say a big company. He said smaller indie developers are doing much better, which I believe, by the way.
He's been saying this for a while, and he said it. He didn't say when he came on Brap and said it. Forte, back me up.
What did he say?
It was just indie developers?
No, he didn't.
Can't be trying to put that in a box that works for us when that's not what the numbers say. Now, I 1000% agree that for first party games, if your game is going to stay in Game Pass, it is not going to make a lot of money because there's no purpose. If you understand what Game Pass is, there's no purpose in buying it. If you're going to continue
so people that elected. So wait, just hear me out though. Here's listen.
Games. Hold on, Mooch. The third party games that are in for a month or two and then they're out.
Yep.
It's the same reason why Sony won't have their games in day and date and won't let them stay in there because they want that game. They
Absolutely. Okay. So what I'm trying to say to you, the reason that I'm still going to stick with the way I feel, because even though you said what you said about Matt Piscatella, and I don't know, I didn't hear him on the show, okay? But cool. What I'm saying to you is that just hear me out. Devil May Cry 5 was for sale for $60. Then it went to $40. Crap bought it for $25 on sale. Now it's in Game Pass. If people weren't buying it at those levels, why would they then? That doesn't make sense to me. People that are ranting and raving about Devil May Cry 5 and Game Pass are playing it for free on their 99-cent deal, and they're done with it. Majority. So I'm not buying the fact that these games, because all these big AAA games that end up in there, this is after they've been for sale. Wicked cheap. So people are not going and buying it in Game Pass. Not in droves. They are. There's people doing it. But not the people that he was talking about, for the most part, in air quotes, for the most part, are the smaller games, the smaller indie developers.
You're still applying your opinion on facts, on statistics.
You don't really have the facts either, though.
It is your opinion. You're
saying he didn't specifically say small, but he didn't specifically say Devil May Cry 5 and big games either.
He didn't, but he said that the games in Game Pass are making money.
Yes, I'm saying the smaller ones. You're saying I shouldn't say that. Right.
He didn't say that.
No, he did not. Okay,
he didn't. I get it, but he also didn't say the bigger ones. So we're kind of at a stalemate.
He basically just said, and he said it is known that games that are in Game Pass they do see incremental growth over
and that's and the incremental growth that I'm going to go out there, and if I had to put my $10 down on the table, okay, would be the games that nobody would even pay attention to, but they get visibility in Game Pass, the smaller guys, and that's why they're the ones, and the ones that have come out and said that Game Pass is helping them are the very small developers. So I understand what you're saying, Slow-Mo. I got it. I don't have any documents here. I don't have any receipts. You're right. Okay? I don't have any of that. But I'm just going to say, if we were both betting men and we're going to put our money down, I guarantee you that the majority of what he's talking about are smaller indie developers versus the big boys. Because the big boys, those games that go in there day and date, they don't go in day and date, like the Devil May Cry 5s and the Wolfensteins and all these other ones, they've been on sale for $20 already before they go in. So that's my point. People aren't going to say, nah, I don't want to buy the physical or digital for $20. Oh, look, I'll play it in Game Pass for free, and now I'll pay $20. Not buying it. The ones that get majority of that money.
You're missing out, though, on, like, if you notice these games that are coming in Game Pass, Microsoft already has marketing rights for them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They've already been bought over a bunch over.
Right. Marketing rights. So, like, now, at the end, when they get to a certain point, and I don't have any papers for me, I don't have any proof, but, like, if you look at all the games Microsoft has had marketing rights from, like maybe the past 2 years, the majority of them, they end up in Game Pass.
Here's all I'm saying.
They spent their money on them for the marketing. And
I like how the same two people in the chat are like, "What are you talking about, Mooch?" Listen, you don't have to agree with me, but what I'm saying is not ludicrous. It's not ludicrous. It holds water. I get where Slow-Mo's coming from, and I'm not saying Slow-Mo's wrong. I'm just saying that if we're betting men, and we both take this conversation to Vegas, and I said, Slow-Mo, now there's no microphones. There's nobody around. It's me and him. And I go, Slow-Mo, we both got $100. The bet is there's two things here. It's like roulette, right? I'm like, hey, what are you gonna put your money on, the red or the black? And I said, you think that they're making more money on the smaller indie games? Put your $100 on this square, or you think it's the third party big games that are coming in later? I just got a good feeling Slow-Mo's gonna be like, let's put it on the little guy, because that just makes more sense.
My feeling is that this is what my feeling is. My feeling is that it is consistent whether it's the big guy or the little guy. I can make an argument for both. I can say the little guy, as you said, the guy if you put your game into the Xbox store and no one knows or even heard of your game, you got no marketing budget. No one even,
but you have visibility
even knows
now.
You exist. You go into Game Pass while people are scrolling through Game Pass to see what they want to play. They see your game. Yeah, right. You're going to get way more visibility.
Hell yeah.
Try
Absolutely,
your game and like it.
Slow-Mo.
That's the argument for the little guy. But for the big guy as well, you mentioned these games aren't coming in day and date for the most part. Like Blair Witch is that's more of the exception and not the rule.
Mm-hmm.
Devil May Cry 5 comes in 4 months after it released.
Right.
It's already outside of its peak period.
Absolutely.
The peak period is 90 days. After 90 days, at that point, your sales drop off a cliff.
Absolutely.
Usually. So you go into Game Pass, there are going to be people just like that little guy with his little, tomato game or whatever, where people are going to see your game. Oh yeah, I remember Devil May Cry 5. Oh yeah, isn't that game? And then they're going to try it, and then your sales will pick up, because without Game Pass at that point, you weren't getting those sales. So I think it's consistent across the board.
Slow-Mo, I like where you went. You say the sales will pick up. They'll pick up because, like you just said, it was nearly dead before. So it'll pick up. It'll get a blip. But it's not what I'm trying to say to you is these things. I hate to use the name, but let's just say, Mooch, Slow-Mo take on the world. Okay, that's a game we made. All right. We take on. Right?
Sounds like a great game, man.
I'm a huge fan myself, to be honest with you. But I gotta tell you, so that game, right?
Big gun.
It's contra. Mooch and Slow-Mo.
I can see it.
So all of a sudden we put it out there. It's a decent little 2D scroller, and I go, Slow-Mo, no one's playing our game, dude. And all of a sudden we get approached by Microsoft. And Microsoft puts it in with the 200 or the 180 games they have rotating in there. And all of a sudden, you have a lot of people that just kind of cycle through this very small mold, very small library. Because before, we were out there with thousands. Now we're in there with less than 200. And people download it and they go, you know what? I can't believe I'm actually playing this. And we see, oh my God, we went from almost 0%, maybe 5%. And now we're hitting 25, maybe 40%. And we're like, holy shit. It's like when you have that little, like, you ever see, what's it called, Shark Tank? And they come on, and sometimes they have these unbelievable inventions. And then sometimes the person that makes it the farthest along is the person that has a sponge with a smiley face. You're like, what the hell? A sponge with a smiley face? They're like, yeah, we made $8 million last year. What? Because you know why? The sponge with the smiley face, which was a sponge amongst millions, made its way onto a Walmart end cap. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say to you. It's the small guy that got the chance to make the end cap on the Microsoft store, which is basically Walmart. So my point being is they're the ones that are capitalizing. That's the majority of money. The guys that are already made the $60, the $40, and the $25, yes, I agree with what your statement is 100% accurate, Slow-Mo. You said they see a sales increase because it's going from dead to up. Agreed. But the one that they're actually talking about, and the developers that have come out and said it, are the small guys. That's all I'm saying. And there's two guys in the shop. Mooch, you don't know what you're talking about. Mooch just woke up yesterday from a coma. All right, listen, I got news for you. You don't have to agree with me. No, they didn't say that. But my point is, I'm just trying to say, like, you have to understand. Like, I'm just trying to say to you guys, what I'm saying, it holds water. That's all I'm asking is that you go, I don't agree with you, but I see where you're coming from.
Well, I'll use the Monster Hunter World as an example, because I think Sony had marketing for that, correct? I know it was on their beta, and they didn't have it on Xbox.
It did. I think they did. Yeah,
I think they did.
I thought it was
so.
Microsoft.
That 19 million. Let's just assume that Sony did, because I remember again the beta was on Sony, not on Xbox, and it was like.
There's your answer right there, Pred.
So like that 19 million went not only to them to get it on Game Pass, but possibly for other stuff. But like what was the other game someone just talked about in chat a while ago? Metro Exodus. Microsoft might have paid 19 million for that, just throwing a number out there since they did it for Monster Hunter World. Let's say they spent the same amount of money, right, for marketing rights, but like that might be something they bundle in with that deal. So like that 19 million might have been, hey, let's get marketing rights, and I'm talking about Metro Exodus point. Like, let's get marketing rights for you with this 19 million, and we get to put it in Game Pass. So I made that statement earlier about the majority of the games that Microsoft market typically come into Game Pass. That money they spend for marketing might be part of that deal as well to get it in Game Pass. So like it's like a twofold deal.
I understand that. Sir, just real quick, Sir X-Man says 19 million for Power Stones on Xbox, and then I also have another one here from Sir X-Man says, I will keep paying I think he says $9.99 for regular Game Pass because I won't be able to stop it when I'm not using it. Wait, I keep my Xbox Live intact. I'm saving money. So no, Sir X-Man, listen.
True.
Well, yeah. Listen, in slow mo, you're not always on the show. One of the things I say all the time is Game Pass is an absolutely tremendous value for the hardcore. For people that have Xbox Live and buy 2 games or more a year, it's absolutely unbelievable. I think everybody in the panel will always have it. I don't think any of us will get rid of it, especially with these $1.99 sales or $5 sales they had before this for 3 months. We're going to do this kind of stuff. Or $10, pardon me.
No,
but
when it goes to $14.99, I'm not keeping it.
I mean, at $14.99, I might be out, especially if I do what Forte said and I start playing my Xbox games on my PC.
Well, if it's bundled with Game Pass and Xbox Live and Cloud, would it still make a better deal for you? Would it make a difference?
Well, Pred, it depends on the conversation. If you're console gaming, yes.
For me, it has to be. They have to put more effort on their games. Their games. There needs to be their exclusive games.
I don't think I think Pred. I think you have to answer Pred's question a little bit differently. Okay, if you're a console gamer and only a console gamer, the question is either yes. The answer to your question, Pred, is yes or a strong maybe. I think if you're Enrique, if you're Gaming Forte, if you're going to be, now that the cat's out of the bag, slow-mo in the future possibly, or myself or you, I think that the question is either maybe or possibly no. Because if I'm going to start playing Xbox's exclusives on my PC, then I don't need to pay $14.99 a month. I will buy, or I'll pay $14.99 for 1 month.
1 month, yeah.
Not monthly.
I just look at everything I get out. I get Game Pass. I get Xbox Live. I get to play on my PC. I get the game share with my daughter, so I have to buy games twice. Like for me, it's a better deal to keep it because I'm buying games on 2 systems.
Understood.
So paying $14.99 a month,
it's cheap for you. Right?
It's cheap for me because I'm getting off because I'm not buying 2 games.
So wait, Pred, what are you getting out of it? Say that again. Because I think that was very good information.
So let's just say everything works out in a perfect world. We get Game Pass. We get Game Pass Ultimate. I'm sorry. And it comes with Xbox Live.
Yes.
It comes with Game Pass. Yes. And it comes with what did I say? Game sharing.
Yes.
Because you can game share even your Xbox Live and stuff like that.
That's correct.
So you get all of that because again I have kids, so like they game on their own consoles or whatever in their room. So for me. And I'm still getting, the games that come with it, day and date, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, because it's saving me from buying 2 games, because my daughter plays just some of the same games I fucking play. So it's saving me a little bit of money by only getting 1 subscription services. Even though I don't own the games,
that's an outstanding point.
I can always go back and buy them later.
That's hard, but again, it depends. Go ahead, Forte.
I was gonna say that's tied to you just named a unique experience to you, and that's the same thing I tell people all the time when they come into the store. Even before Game Pass,
I'm in Pred's boat, but go ahead. No, I agree. Pred made a good point.
Yeah, but even it's the same situation when it comes why would you pick Xbox over PlayStation or PlayStation over Xbox? It's like, what is the experience you're looking for? If this console offers an experience like you want, then yeah, it's going to be more beneficial to you than anybody else. But for a person like me, I'm looking at it like I can still play. I still have that system already. Microsoft already told me that all the games going forward will work on the X. So I don't have to invest in another system. And then I already have a high-end PC that can play the games probably better than the Scarlet is when it comes out.
Well, you're talking about buying the system. I'm talking about buying the system.
Well,
He's
that,
talking
well
about-
that's
yeah.
but the subscription is tied to the system because in order for me to play those games on PC, I have to have the subscription.
Yeah,
In the
you
future,
also have to
I
have
can
the-
really we pretty much are looking at a future where you're going to be able to subscribe to Game Pass and probably be able to use xCloud, like Game Pass
Exactly.
Ultimate
Yeah, I forgot
and
to say
just
that,
xCloud.
cloud, yeah.
You don't even have to have a PC. You don't even have to have an
Yep.
Xbox. That's
And
why
that's
they're
the-
trying their best not to
That's right.
promote or really do anything with the console because
Yep.
they don't want you just tied to that anymore. Which is, I mean, that's a strategy. We don't know. No one on this panel really is behind it, but it is what it is. But that's what they're trying to do.
But you know what's
This
slow
is
mo?
going to tie back into Crap's argument about what Phil always says. Phil said they will always be in the hardware business. I say bullshit to that because as soon as it becomes very prevalent that they don't have to make the system, when it comes to a point where the reflection point is way more on the side of people that's playing on these services and playing on all these different devices, and they're not seeing as big of a ROI on the return of the system purchase, they'll stop doing it. But until that moment, he's absolutely right. They will make systems, but it won't be forever. That's not going to be he shouldn't even make that type of statement because it's a fallacy. You can't say that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I got to tell you guys something. So
We won't be around when that happens.
We've hit the 9 o'clock mark, and I got to tell you, you guys brought some fire tonight. This is, I got to be honest with you. If it wasn't Friday night and you all gave me something in writing that was like, I can stay here forever, I got like another 8 topics. But listen, it's Friday. I want you guys to enjoy some gaming. We had a fire, unbelievable chat tonight. Everything was just so great. Let me go down and do some outros. I don't want to end the show because there's so many. I have like 2 or 3 other things I really want to talk to you guys about, but hopefully that everyone will come back on the show and we'll get a chance to discuss some of this next week. Let me go in reverse order here. If I can remember right, I'll go with Dark Goldblum. Goldblum, I know you're so busy, buddy, over there in Hollywood, but listen, if you can make time for us, we love having you on the show. Let everybody know where they can find you, Goldblum.
Yeah, you guys can find me at Dark Anonymous across the board. Yeah, that's Mooch is gonna get desperate when he hits me up again. So.
Love it. I love it. Buddy, you have no idea. I love when you're on the show because you literally spat out about anything, and that's what makes the show so great. I appreciate it.
I just go off on a random tangent, and you guys are just like, Jesus Christ, man, get back on track.
You know, Goldblum, between you and Sir X-Man, you guys shifted subjects so many times, I didn't even get to half of my topics, but it's okay. That's what the show's all about. I don't mind that one bit. I didn't even get a chance to get to the fight heard around the world. I want to get to it, but we'll get to, believe me, this topic ain't going anywhere. We'll do it next week between Forte and maybe Slow-Mo. Forte, real quick, thank you for being here tonight, brother. I appreciate it. It's always great to have your wisdom. You're in the gaming world. You understand things that others don't, myself included. It's always just a privilege to have you here. Let people know where they can find you, please.
Yo, yeah, always a pleasure to come on here, man. Second episode, loving it. Even more comfortable this time than the first.
Thank you.
Oh, that's Mooch making it easy for everybody. Same thing with Crap, but it's Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all those other crazy places. Also, Nautical on Xbox Live, and on PC, it's actually Gaming Forte. So if you come over to Steam, want to play some Destiny with me and Mooch, and probably Slow-Mo one day in Enrique.
I may have to do that.
Hey man, friend code is in the description of my Twitch channel, my Twitter channel, so you can catch it there. And Slow-Mo, I love you, man. That's my brother. We give each other crap all the time, but this ain't over, brother. We don't talk about. We don't talk
He's basically like, I love you, man. Talk about fuck you.
I don't know. If I'm going to try and book these guys for next week. If I can't do it, everybody stay tuned to Scumcast tomorrow. I'll be there front row. But Slow-Mo, let me say,
I think it's real funny. I sent Forte a PC part picker build. I sent him a build. Hey, look, I think I might build this. What do you think? He does not respond to me, but he decides to bring it up on CrossFire. I think that's really funny, right?
Yo, Slow-Mo's like, I was just shopping, man. I'm window shopping. Take it easy.
I saw it like two hours ago. I just happened to look at my DMs. I was like,
oh my God.
You
it's
saw
that
it as
fresh.
soon as I sent it. You screenshot it. It was like, I'm bringing this up on CrossFire.
Yo, that shit, Slow-Mo, I didn't know it was that fresh. Holy shit, wow, that's great. That's like a topic he had. Fantastic. Slow-mo, honestly, same thing goes for you, man. Always great to have you here. I love your insight. Your insight comes from a different angle, and I don't know if people really know it, but you're in the tech world, so I always want people to know that. You kind of get it. You get the subscription-built systems, and I love your input. Let everybody know where they can find you, and I hope you'll be on again real soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love coming on Crossfire because it's always a great time. It's always a exciting argument going on, and I love to just jump in the middle of it like it's the Royal Rumble. It's great. You guys can catch me on my YouTube channel, Slow Mo Backslap. My channel is about games. It's just it doesn't matter the platform. I don't give a crap about platforms. It's games on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and soon to be PC probably. Yes, Forte.
There's the leak.
So
once again, he was frauding for a long time about that Switch stuff. I ain't gonna never buy a Switch.
Not frauding.
I'm never gonna buy a Switch.
Frauding.
I'm
like
never
every time I listen to Scumcast, I'm just like, he's so frauding right now.
I'm never gonna look
frauding.
Like brother, son like mother like son. That is dumb.
Who
was the person
I need
that
to clear
had
the air here because Nalaku is lying on me right now.
Oh, now you call me by my government.
I'm never buying a Switch.
You can't say that.
I need a reason to buy a Switch.
Name out. Dang.
Oh man,
to buy a Switch. And when at the VGAs last year, when they announced Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 as an exclusive to the Switch, I was like, "Yep, that's it. That's what I needed."
Yep.
Okay, I'll give you. You are consistent on that one. But what about your mom? Your mom was beating that horn. F the Switch. The Switch is trash. And look what she got now.
I got news for you.
I do not call her that. I do not call her my. I know that's never going to be coming out my mouth. One,
I'm going to be front row for Scumcast tomorrow.
It's gonna be funny, man. Luca listening to this right now. I'm about to get yelled at on Destiny in like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you are.
I'm actually ratting you out right now as we speak. So just let you know.
I was talking to Luca before the show. I can't wait to hear this. Slomo, let people know where they can find you, man, because I got to be honest with you. I'm going to plug you again. Your channel on YouTube is unique. It's refreshing, man, because you don't talk about the news. You don't talk about this. You don't talk about what you want to buy. You talk about games. Strictly games. You review them, you discuss them, and you kind of break into different things with the developers and how they got into what they're doing and where they're moving forward. So let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, those videos are really good.
They're awesome.
I think it's up on the screen now. My YouTube channel, Slow Mo Backslap, and I even to kind of get to your point, Mooch, I even get into I love talking about small indie games from newer developers you never heard of before, but it's not like some just little trash old 8-bit game. It's no, this game is fire, but you just haven't heard of it before. They may not have the best marketing or a big name publisher to really kind of put them out there. So I like to kind of highlight those games too, because if it's a great game, I want people to see it.
Facts, man. I'm always there. The minute you always go, I think I got a video coming out. I'm like, I gotta take a couple minutes and check out Slow-Mo's video, man, because you get in the games, man, and it's unique. So thank you for being here. We'll try and get you back out for next week too, if we can. And then I've got my buddy. Well, listen, I got news for you. This Discord thing is so new to me to actually get a hold of it. Pred, you came in late, but I still got you on my list because you know why? Too much information. Too much goddamn.
Yes,
you should be Predator. Instead of H2O, it should be Predator, the library. Pred, thanks for being here tonight, man. I know I always get you in here last second, but your wisdom is just throughout the years been amazing. Let people know where they can find you.
Hey, man, next podcast tomorrow is going to be fire. We didn't have one last week, so make sure you guys tune in Saturday. I think we started about 7 Central Time.
7 o'clock.
So, so make sure y'all tune in for that, and make sure you catch me on MySpace and Instagram and Twitter and Pornhub and Friendster and
whatever else they come out with in the next 5 years.
So, check my Twitter out. Obviously, it's Predator_HOS. And I have all my links.
Black Planet.
Yeah, Black Planet. Wow, military vibes. Hit me up on Twitter. All my links and stuff later for Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation and Steam are on there as well.
Cool. Thank you so much, Predator. I appreciate that. And I'll give a quick shout out to Xbot448. Xbot is going to have next podcast tomorrow on his channel. He couldn't make it tonight. Again, in case you guys are coming in at the end of the show versus the beginning, he had to work a double shift, so he couldn't make it. He will be back next week. And last but certainly not least, he's going to be on M&C mornings at 11:30 before the football kickoff goes. It's Crap Gamer. Crap, where can people find you this weekend?
Crap Gamer Reviews. Peace out.
He's out. That was it. He literally waited for that. And he's like, I gotta go. Yo, guys, honestly.
First, that's why I was like, oh, you didn't get him.
I probably should have let Crap go first.
How's it feel to be last, Crap? Yeah, I remember that shit on your podcast.
That's awesome. Guys, awesome chat. Everybody, please do hit the like button. Tweet it out. Let people know about Crossfire. Hit the subscribe button, guys. It's literally a click. I don't even know how much muscle that really takes for the pointer finger to click on that. I don't think it's much energy at all. Do it real quick. Make Mooch's day. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys next weekend. Jay, if you don't mind, actually do guys check out Jay the Matrix Gamer at JMatrix76. I have all of his information in the description. If it's not there now, because for some reason YouTube does this really weird thing where in the middle of my podcast it takes all of my description out. I have it all saved. So when I put it back up in about 20 minutes when it's done processing, Jay's information and all of ours will be there. So please do check it out there in the description. But give Jay a chance here and check him out because he does great work when it comes to OBS and anything when it refers to Twitch. So thank you so much, Jay. Appreciate it, Jay. Guys, with that being said, we'll see you next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace out, everybody. Good night.
Good night.